Hi everyone. So I wanted to come on here and do another video for my Deeper Beauty series. I haven't done one in a while, and I've just been thinking and thinking and thinking. Like, there hasn't been really anything that stuck out to me a ton lately about like my makeup rehab thought process or like, um, yeah, just kind of like my inner mental workings around makeup and in terms of panning or like pursuing a more like conscious consumerism and just not purchasing as much, kind of like a low buy. And like I've already highlighted a few things I think in the past about things that have really worked for me in the sense of like certain things that I definitely say to myself whenever I feel tempted, and or like having a beauty bank in place or like some kind of motivator in place where I can focus on that versus focus on like purchasing new things. But I think the most recent thing that's really stuck with me is just thinking ahead. I think there's something about it's great to look at the past and seeing kind of like, oh, like those are the things that worked or didn't work for me. And I learned from that. There's things about looking at the present, being like, okay, shop my stash. And if I'm tempted by something to like look to see if I have anything similar or just to play with my makeup and try to find contentment in that. But I think even to now look ahead, I think that's kind of been the missing piece or one of the missing pieces. Whenever I was struggling and grappling with kind of a tempting thought or like a really an urge to like buy something was like, but I want that for my future self and I want that now, or like just to have it like ready for my future self, right? And so I think, I mean, that's not a bad thought, but I think I need to start setting some parameters around that because I just kind of was like, whatever, and like, oh, my future self will use that eventually, right? And that's just not good enough of a reason. I think the big thing that I've been starting to tell myself is, okay, can my future self use whatever I purchase within the next 2 years? Because I know that these thoughts aren't going to stop. And I don't, honestly, I don't want them to be, I want them to maybe lessen in its intensity. But I think that's just how much I enjoy makeup, at least how I believe I'll continue to enjoy makeup is to look at some new purchases, some new innovations. I mean, I love new packaging and I love innovative packaging and innovative formulas and things like that too. And so I just think the way I view makeup and how I want to purchase things isn't going to change all that soon because, those innovative things and unique things are kind of hard to come by. They don't come every single launch, right? And so I'm just constantly eyeing things to see if there's really something that I think is innovative and new and something worth trying. But I think the main question I have for myself now is if I do bring that into my collection, is it something that I can use within the next, if I not only use within the next 2 years, but use up within the next 2 years? I think I'm realizing now that, of course, makeup expires. And I think once any product in my collection is around like the 1, 2 year mark, I start looking at it and being like, do I really want to use you anymore? So I think for the sake of really enjoying all the products that I have, I really need to be sure that I can use it up within 2 years. And that includes anything that I bring in. So that has honestly been a great like checkpoint for me, to just ask myself like, okay, if I bring in something new, can I really use it within the next 2 years and enjoy it within the next 2 years? Because I know within the next 2 years there's going to be other innovative things that catch my eye, and so I need to be able to guarantee when I bring that in that I can also enjoy that within the next 2 years. And this couples also with like other, you know, like self-talk phrases and thoughts that I have for myself. So it's like, okay, if I think I can use it within the next 2 years, is it something I still have to buy now? Probably not. It's probably going to be still on the market for, however long. It doesn't look like it's not like a one-time chance. Like I think FOMO really gets at me. Um, is it on sale? Okay, I think the sale's gonna come again. And honestly, I'm also just starting to let go of needing to own certain items too, of being like, okay, that's just not the right place and time for me to own it. So it's gonna be for someone else to enjoy in this time. And if I get to come across it again when the time is right, then I'll bring it into my collection. And if I don't, like, that's okay too. It just like wasn't meant to be. And there's probably flaws about it that I'll end up picking up on. So better for me. I don't have to deal with that. I think if I could give an example, one of them is my NYX Bear With Me concealer. This is my very last liquid complexion product. I used up my foundations. I don't have any other concealers. Um, and it's just, I think previous Jamie would be freaking out, kind of like, okay, I need to buy back up. Like I want to make sure I have some sort of liquid complexion product in my collection. But I think I've come to terms with the fact that I don't actually like liquid complexions all that much. And if I did have one, it'd be kind of like just like extra coverage for me, because I mainly use my powder foundation as coverage, and I don't need very much of it, nor do I expect it. Like I'm not a person that needs it to have lasting power throughout the day, so I just reapply it, or just choose not to care, or maybe I do care, but I just have to live with it, and like that's just how I roll with it. But yes, what I'm trying to say is that a liquid complexion product is not necessary in my collection. And right now I'm kind of grappling with the thought of, yes, if I can bring something in, can I use it within the next 2 years? And I feel like right now the answer is pretty much yes. I've been eyeing a new foundation, not so much because it's a good foundation, and it is a good foundation, but because of its name. It's the Shiseido Synchro Skin Foundation, and I'm actually actively doing synchronized swimming right now. It's called artistic swimming now, but I think because of that, I am really eyeing that foundation, and I kind of wanted my collection because of its name. Just to have a product with the name Synchro on it, in looking at me every day I do my makeup, I think would be really special to me. That's me. I'm sure that's probably no one else. But yeah, so I think that's one product where I'm pretty confidently going to pick that up in the near future. But I've also set some goals for myself first before I can purchase that, like use up my current liquid complexion product, because that foundation probably one isn't on sale right now. I would like to purchase it when it's on sale because it's expensive, and it also has SPF 30, and I have lots of SPF in my collection, so I need to use up at least the same amount of SPF before I bring that one in. Which I know like these steps like aren't necessary, but I think for myself it makes sense, and that's how I'm going to approach that purchase. Other items where I just like don't need any more of, even if it's tempting, is powder blushes. I don't have every single powder blush in front of me, but I have a lot of them in front of me. So let me just show you how many I have. I think I have 5 within reach. So there's one in this palette. There's one within this palette. There's one within this palette. There's one within this palette. Actually, 2. And this is MAC Warm Soul. That's another one. I consider this a bronzer, but this is another MAC like blushy shade. And then I also picked up the Benefit Rockateur. I know this is discontinued, but this was a FOMO moment for me. So counting that up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, that's more than I thought I had. So I have 8 powder blushes that I am actually not using whatsoever. So that is way beyond like 2 years of powder blush worth. Not only that, but right now I'm really enjoying cream blushes, so I'm not using powder blushes. And I know I can use it as like, blush topper and stuff like that. But regardless, there's a lot of product in these powder blushes. Thankfully, they won't go bad like super quickly or super soon. And I think right now I'm hopping on, actually there is one that I didn't show, but anyways, right now I'm kind of trying out the like pink powder trend. And since I make my own loose powder, I've been like starting to put a little bit of like scrape a little bit of powder blush in there, but that's still like very little, right? So what I'm trying to say is powder blush is not going to be something I will purchase for years. I think if I look at a powder blush, which I'm not often tempted by powder blushes, the Rare Beauty one did catch my eye, but I used my like new little thought process here, being like, will I have room for it in my collection within the next 2 years? And that answer is a strong no. And I probably will continue to say no for the next 5 years. Which I'm hoping that these products will be okay still by then. But I think this really goes to show, like, I have one category where it's like I can use my thought process and I still come up with, yes, I can purchase something. And then I have another category where I can use my thought process and it just off the bat is like, nope, you can't purchase anything. Um, so maybe if I'm down to one blush, I might be able to say that. But even one blush, I feel like I would be really towing the line just because of how long it takes. And on top of that, because of my love for cream blushes right now, I feel like I'll have what I need to get the blush look that I want, with or without a powder blush. So yeah, I hope that gives you something to think about. I think it's given me something to think about, and I think that that question of if I bring something into my collection, can I use it up within the next 2 years, has stopped me from honestly a lot of products, and even the really tempting ones. And so I think for now that's actually been a really good like checkpoint for me, and I'm really excited that I found something that helps me in this way. And I hope that it just helps you maybe think a little bit differently about maybe some things that are in your wish list or some things that you've been looking to buy. And this, I think that my thought process is really for someone who is trying to keep kind of a pretty much like a minimal makeup collection, not super minimal, but for me, I only really want one or two products in each category just so that I have some variety, but not a ton. There's some categories, of course, that I make an exception for, but not a huge exception. And I just want a collection that is doesn't have excess. I think that's the word I keep coming back to, is like I don't want my collection to feel like it's excess or overwhelming, and that I really love my collection for all that it is, and not feel like I'm overlooking anything or overwhelmed by anything. And I think that I'm working towards it. I feel like I'm in a good making good pace for it. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share today. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I know it's just a lot of me talking at you, but to me it's really practical, and it's something that I hope if I ever kind of lose sight of this kind of focus that I have right now, hope I can come back to this and listen to myself and be like, Jamie, get back on it. Don't lose sight of your goals. And if you're trying to bring excess into your collection, you're going to regret it down the line, because you're going to look at it later and be like, I'm overwhelmed again. Why did I do that to myself? It's really not worth it. No matter how much you want to treat yourself, or how much you feel like you deserve it, or like you convince yourself, yes, I will use it within 2 years. It's just pace yourself. It'll be okay. There'll be more new cool items out there for you to peruse later. So don't fall off the wagon. All right, that's it for me tonight. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.